right back at you with another one. And today we have a homicide leaked Foia report for none other than OTF Dede. OTF Dede's leaked paperwork. It is regarding a homicide that he was accused of being the offender for. So we will get into this paperwork. But first, let's definitely take a second to hit that subscribe button. I appreciate everybody that's been rocking with me so far. It's been rolling with me so far. That's been taking this journey with me. It's just started, of course, and man, I really appreciate all the support from all the YouTubers. Man, it's just been really great to see the support, amongst all individuals. And I don't want to name drop any pages because I'll forget, but y'all know who y'all are. I come underneath y'all pages. I mean, y'all's chats, lives. I support all of y'all, man, and yeah, man, I just want to see all of us be great. Everybody has their own perspective and stuff, which I really respect. So yeah, man, and with enough of that, man, we are gonna get into this paperwork, and once we get down to the victim and we learn the victim's name, then we'll go ahead and put a RIP in front of that person's name. But jumping right into this now, we got a Chicago Police Department arrest report, and we have an offender of a DeAndre Wilson, and his address is redacted. The date of birth is redacted except for the year. It's 91. The age is 23 years. Place of birth, Illinois. Arm width, unarmed. Male, black, 5'11", 155 pounds, brown eyes, black hair, dreadlock hairstyle, medium brown complexion. Marks, redacted. Arrest date, November 5th, 2014, 21:22 hours. And the location of the incident was 641 East 61st Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60637. And this took place at a residence, porch/hallway. Holding facility, District 005, male lockup. Resisted arrest, no. Charges, offense as cited, 720 ILCS 5.0/9-1-A-1, murder, first degree. Victim, Henry Travis. Class M, type F. And as I noted before, we will say do a rest in peace to the first victim that we came across, and that is a Travis Henry. So we'll go ahead and throw a rest in peace in front of him. So rest in peace to Travis Henry. Rest in peace to Travis Henry, and rest in peace to Travis Henry. All right. And the next section we have here is a felony review. Felony review approved. Excuse me. November 7th, 2014 at 1:30 by a Bashirian, and that's the state's attorney's office. No narcotics were recovered during the arrest. No warrants were identified. Victim and complainant is a one Henry Travis. His residence is redacted in Chicago, Illinois. He was a male, black, date of birth, year 1995. His age was 19. Injured, yes. Deceased, yes. Hospitalized, no. Treated and released, no. Arrest reporting, injuries, gunshot wounds about the body. Comments, arrestee's vehicle, no arrestee vehicle information entered. And confiscated properties, not available. Incident narrative. Event number 16418. This is a homicide arrest by GLR FTF, Fugitive Apprehension Team 5756, in that arriving officers had knowledge that Wilson DeAndre had an active investigative alert number listed for homicide. Wilson was identified as the offender who fired a handgun at Henry Travis, fatally striking the victim. Above listed, placed into custody and transported to Area South Detective Division for further processing. Documented redacted. Clear GIP/TDOA, no parole, no probation, no ID, has $140 U.S. currency on person. Personal property inventory number is listed. Area South Detective Division, Sergeant Winstead. All right, and it has his initial court date listed. All right, and then it has the arresting officers. Now we have the original case incident report, and the IUCR is a 0110, and that is homicide, first degree murder. The occurrence is redacted, location Chicago, Illinois, and we have a redaction for an individual, which potentially is a victim, and the name and residence is redacted, but it is in Chicago, Illinois. The demographics of this individual is male, black, date of birth 1947, age 65. All right, and then we have victim name Henry Travis, residence is redacted except for Chicago, Illinois, and he was a male, black, 5'6", 170 pounds, brown eyes, black hair, short hairstyle, medium complexion. Date of birth is redacted except for the year 1995. Age 17. Place of birth Illinois. There's another victim listed for Chicago Illinois. This is a female, black, 5'2", 180 pounds, brown eyes, black hair, ponytail hairstyle, medium complexion. Date of birth the year 1989. Age 23. Birthplace Illinois. Now we're getting into the injuries. We have injured by offender, injury extent, fatal. And the date is listed November 3rd, 2012 at 0402 hours. Gunshot wound, gunshot type, weapon used firearm, other weapon used, other handgun. Suspects currently unknown, male, black, dreadlocks, hairstyle. Relationship to the offender is unknown. Domestic information is blank. Vehicle, there's a 1996 Cadillac DeVille automobile, style 4-door sedan. Color, top bottom is gold. Damage, yes. Damage description, bullet holes, window, front, broke, dent, right rear. And the possessor and the owner of this vehicle was Travis Henry. Vehicle number 2, unknown, other, explain the narrative, automobile, style van, cargo panel transport, color top, blue, owner and possessor is unknown. All right, we have some notifications for the incident, and we have a narrative here that we will read. Event number in summary: responding officers responded to a person shot. Upon arrival, responding officers met / spoke redacted witness who stated that while sitting in the victim's vehicle with Travis Henry, victim, when a blue van pulled up occupied by 4 male ones, unknown offender exited the vehicle and produced handgun and shot several times at the victim's vehicle. The unknown offender shot the vehicle several times. Redacted witness attempted to flee and backed up the victim's vehicle into a parked car and fence. Redacted witness related the unknown offender's vehicle was a blue van that fled southbound on Shields. A traffic crash was completed under RD number listed. Responding officers observed Travis Henry, victim, slumped over the passenger seat with no signs of life. Crime lab ordered by 720R. Victims, redacted, arrived on scene shortly after shooting and notified pod camera related number 6088. And it lists all the other officers on the scene and the assisting officers and detectives and investigators all on the scene. We have a case supplementary report in the method CAU code document. This is a homicide, first degree murder. Number of victims 2, number of offenders 1. This was submitted on November 4th, 2012. This is a field investigation method CAU code report. Victims: Henry Travis, male, black, 17 years old, and we know his date of birth year was 95, and his residence was in Chicago. They also list the female, black, 23-year-old victim born in the year of 1989. And they have a suspects unknown, male, black, dreadlocks hairstyle. We have victims' injuries: gunshot, firearm, other handgun, extent was fatal. And then they list the vehicle information again. I'm going to scroll down to some new information. All right, and we have a new document. It is a progress violent scene, so they're back on the scene to check out some of that evidence. And this form was submitted November 6, 2012. And it still lists the victims, same victims. And we have some weather and lighting. At the time of the homicide, weather was cold, temperature was 43 degrees, the lighting was dark, and the lighting source was artificial, which typically means street lights. And the method code, person shot, and DNA. And they have other individuals involved, It's a male black 65, another male black 29. The crime summary code, there are two. There's a homicide and first degree murder and a battery aggravated handgun. There are no associations to the victim and the offender. Scrolling down past notifications, we have this is the assigned unit progress violent scene report, and it just lists the time, date assigned, and the deceased victim number 1, of course. And his information and gang affiliation is none listed per clear, and criminal history is redacted. Victim number 2, of course, the name and residence is redacted, but is a female 1, 23, and gang affiliation denied. Now we have a wanted section they have for 4 male 1s, so 4 individual males. Injuries, Henry, 6 gunshot wounds to the chest, 1 gunshot wound to the forehead, 1 gunshot wound right index finger, 1 gunshot wound right wrist, 1 gunshot wound right lower arm. Injuries, fragments, wounds to the abdomen and left thigh. Taken 2, victim number 1, ME office 0940 hours. Victim number 2 transported from area south to redacted hospital by CFD number 5, treated and released. So this first victim was able to walk away. Cause and manner of death, multiple gunshot wounds, homicide. Location, redacted, vehicle. Weapon, possibly a .45 caliber handgun and a 9mm handgun. And we know the weather and lighting. Manner and motive, Travis Henry sustained multiple gunshot wounds to the body while sitting in the passenger seat of his car, with redacted at redacted / possibly gang related. Identified by redacted male 165. Relationship is redacted. Vehicle used by victim, gold 1996 Cadillac DeVille 4-door. Vehicle used by offender, Chevy full-size high-top conversion van, dark in color. And they have some recovered inventory property. Seems to be some expended bullet shells and some fired bullets. Crime scene photos of 56 Place and Shield Street. Canvas of the vehicle, all angles, close up, fired bullet, 9mm. So they do have 9mm cartridge cases as well. I imagine 45 caliber cartridge cases as well, which is why they listed the two firearms. And they're taking pictures of the victim as well. A lot of pictures, more pictures of the vehicle. And these are notifications of the officers on the scene and the investigative personnel assigned to this homicide, aggravated assault. And there are some forensic services. Interview witnesses, female 123. Relationship to victim is redacted. Right. And we have another male 128, and his gang affiliation was denied. All right, we have an investigation here. Responding detectives was assigned to investigate the homicide that occurred at 56 Redacted South Shields by Sergeant Seveler, number 1961 of this command. This incident occurred at approximately 0400 hours on November 3rd, 2012. It was further related to responding detectives that CFD number 36 was on the scene and rendered aid to the victim, Travis Henry, before he expired at 0402 hours. Detective Evans, number 20988, Harold, number 20993, Downs, number 20639, and Parks, number 20528, were assigned to assist responding detectives in this investigation. Responding detectives proceeded to the crime scene to conduct an investigation after being apprised of the shooting. Upon arrival at the scene, responding detectives observed that the 5600 block of Shields, is a residential block which consists of single-family homes and a couple of two-flat buildings. Responding detectives also observed Shields runs north and south with the option to park on either the east side or west side of the street. There was a pod positioned on a pole at 56 Redacted South Shields. Responding detectives observed the crime scene was cordoned off with with red crime and yellow crime scene tape, with uniformed police personnel from the 007 district guarding the scene along the perimeter. Responding detectives met with BT-72R Sergeant Gubala, who related a brief synopsis. Sergeant Gubala related that there was a female witness redacted. Responding detectives also informed that there were numerous markers of evidence in the street. After speaking with Sergeant Gubala, responding detectives then proceeded to canvass the crime scene and spoke with assisting responding detectives. After speaking with responding detectives and Sergeant Sevilla, responding detectives spoke with witness redacted. Redacted, the following was related in essence to responding detectives, but not verbatim. Redacted related that they had been sitting inside of Henry's vehicle drinking for about 2 hours when they decided to go to McDonald's on 55th in Michigan. Redacted related that they dropped off a couple of Redacted before returning Redacted. Redacted related that she was driving. Redacted was on the passenger side and Redacted was in the rear of the vehicle. Redacted related that the vehicle was facing northbound on Shields. Redacted related that Travis got out of the vehicle to get his jacket from Redacted. Redacted related that while they waited, she observed a light blue, powder blue van that was traveling southbound on Shields stop. Redacted related that she saw the passenger come to the middle of the street with a gray gun. Redacted related that the driver never got out. Redacted related to responding detectives. Redacted related that she put the vehicle in reverse and placed her head down. Redacted related that after the shooting, she drove the vehicle back to the street after striking the fence. Redacted related that the shooter did not say anything. Redacted related that she only saw one shooter because she put her head down to avoid being struck. Redacted described the shooter as a male 27 to 28 years old, 5'5 to 5'6, 200 pounds, caramel complexion, short dreads, and unknown clothing description. Redacted related that the driver was a male 27 to 28 years old, caramel complexion with short dreads. After speaking with Redacted briefly, responding detectives continued to observe the crime scene. Henry remains were observed in a 1996 gold Cadillac DeVille four-door vehicle. There were 8 bullet holes in the front windshield. There were numerous bullet holes placed all around the vehicle. 1 bullet hole to the driver's side door, 1 bullet hole to the driver's side front fender and rear fender, 1 bullet hole to the passenger side mirror, 3 bullet holes to the passenger's door, 3 bullet holes to the passenger's rear door, 1 bullet hole to the rear quarter panel, and 1 bullet hole to the trunk. 1 fired bullet inside the driver's door well, 1 fired bullet and fragments on the driver's side rear door, 1 fired bullet inside the trunk. There was broken glass throughout the vehicle. Henry's torso was laid across the armrest of the vehicle. Henry's face was facing eastbound on the back seat as his head pointed southbound. Henry's feet remained in the front seat of the vehicle that was facing northbound on Shields. There was a huge pool of blood that appeared to be coming underneath the upper chest area and head. Responding detectives noted that Henry was wearing Republic blue jeans, gray underwear, black knit hat, black Pele jacket, blue hoodie, red shirt, and black gym shoes with red shoestrings. There was 1 cell phone on the front seat in the middle of the vehicle. Redacted. Detective Downs related the following in essence but not verbatim. Downs related that during his interview with Redacted, the following was related to him regarding the incident. Redacted related that he was in the rear passenger seat and they were driving around. They went to McDonald's about an hour before the incident. Redacted related that Redacted was driving and dropped off a girl on Redacted before coming back there. Redacted related that Redacted to get his book bag so they could drop him off at the L. Redacted related that he heard 15 gunshots from inside Redacted. Redacted related that he did not see the shooter or shooters, nor did he see any vehicles driven from the scene. Redacted also related that they did not have any confrontations with anyone that night. BT 5802 and number 4781 arrived on scene and processed the crime scene accordingly. The forensic investigators also photographed and videotaped the crime scene. Upon completion of the crime scene, Henry's remains were transported to ME office for formal pronouncement. Responding detectives' initial investigation revealed that the victim, Henry, was apparently shot several times after attempting to flee to the back seat of his vehicle, after several unknown offenders shot several times in his direction after they exited a full-size Chevy high-top conversion van. Henry, along with Redacted, was sitting, Redacted, waiting for their Redacted to retrieve his jacket from Redacted when the offense occurred. Video retrieval of pod number Redacted was requested to assist in this investigation. Responding detectives were able to view pod Redacted. The entire incident was not captured. It revealed the van traveling southbound as it approaches the pod as it is on its rotation. The pod then picks up the three offenders getting back into the van. Detective Parks number 20528 transported Redacted to the area. Parks provided numerous photos of known arrestees from 5700 to 6000 block of Normal. Parks provided Redacted with subjects that are known BDs that are at war with the GDs, located at 5500 to 5700 block of Shields Avenue. Redacted was able to pinpoint hair similarities, but unable to provide an offender or offenders that committed the offense against Travis Henry. Redacted was transported to Redacted Hospital by CFD number 5 after it became apparent that she had also suffered minor injuries. Redacted was redacted and released. A buy bus will be requested for assistance from the Narcotic and Gang Investigation Section to be conducted to assist in this investigation. The PCAD event history was retrieved that lists the chronological sequence of events and limited caller information in an attempt to locate possible witnesses. An ISP form will be submitted requesting the classification and analysis of the recovered evidence. There was no gang affiliation listed and clear for Henry. It should be noted that Redacted related that the BDs from 59th Normal are having issues with the GDs from her neighborhood. Redacted also told responding detectives that she only saw one offender in the street shooting because she put her head down. Per GOCR, she originally told the preliminary officers that there were 4 offenders. There were also inconsistencies with the color of the offender's vehicle. Redacted initially description to the responding detectives was a light blue, powder blue van with a burgundy design on the side. After viewing the pod video, the appearance of the vehicle appeared to be a dark van. Responding detectives spoke to Redacted again at 1600 hours and asked if she was sure about the color of the van. Redacted response was that she wasn't sure. Redacted's phone records have been requested due to the inconsistency of what occurred on November 3rd, 2012. All right, and that is reported by Detective N. Ansley. All right, and we're scrolling down to the next documents. There's nothing listed on these pages noteworthy of reading, so we're just going to keep scrolling through. All right, and now we're down to a Canvas supplementary report. And this is, of course, a homicide, and we know the victims. We know there are no suspects currently unknown, male black with dreadlock hairstyle. And we know the cars that were damaged, so we're going to scroll past that. And notifications. And we're down in an investigation. This report should be read in conjunction with all previously submitted reports. Address redacted. Related to Detective Harold number 20993 that he was redacted for 20 to 30 minutes when he heard around 10 shots fired. Redacted related that after the shooting stopped, they looked out, Redacted, and saw the victim's car crash into a fence. Redacted further related that he saw a tan van with tinted windows going southbound on Shields with an extender on top of the van. Address redacted, male 151, related to Detective Harold that he heard 6 to 7 shots, no further information. A 151 years old related to Detective Harold that the occupants of Redacted have been getting into it with the boys on 55th and Shields. Address 56 redacted South Shields, abandoned. So these are houses they're canvassing, just knocking on doors, seeing what people heard or saw. And this one we have redacted, related to Detective Harold that he heard 67 gunshots from two different guns. Redacted further related that a dark colored SUV went southbound on Shields while the shooting was going on. And we have another witness, refused info, male 120. Citizen related to Detective Evans that he heard the shots but did not see anything. Another witness on the canvas, redacted female 169, related to Detectives Evans that she heard the gunshots but did not look out. And it seems like that is the gist for everyone in that neighborhood. A female 177 told the detective that she heard the gunshots but did not look out. And so that is the end of that canvas report. And the next report we have is a morgue report. And this was submitted on November 12th, 2012. And we're going to scroll through all the information that we already know in an effort to get down to some new information. And we have the doctor performed an autopsy on the remains of Travis Henry and determined the cause and manner of death to be multiple gunshot wounds / homicide. And we have an external examination was gunshot wound number 1 to forehead above right eye, gunshot wound number 2 to lower left chest, gunshot wound number 3 to chest below right nipple, gunshot wound number 4 to lower right chest, gunshot wound number 5 to mid left chest, gunshot wound number 6 to left chest, gunshot wound number 7, interlower palm of right hand, exit below thumb. Internal examination, 6 medium caliber copper jacketed bullets recovered. And that is it for that document. And now we have a field investigation progress report that was submitted on November 30th, 2012. And we'll scroll down, we'll scroll down through that to get to some new information as well. Excuse me again. All right, and this is a supplementary narrative, and just letting us know that this report should be read in conjunction with all previously submitted reports. So on November 4th, 2012, responding detectives attempted to interview redacted, again to no avail. On the same day, they submitted a request for redacted phone records to the telephone liaison officer. An ISP form was submitted on November 5th, 2012, requesting the classification and analysis of the recovered evidence. On November 5th, 2012, they also redacted left a message at 1912 hours. Responding detectives was unsuccessful in reaching redacted at the beginning of responding detectives' tour. On the 6th of November, 2012, responding detectives attempted to reach redacted at the end of responding detectives' tour to no avail. Responding detectives spoke to the victim's redacted regarding the ongoing investigation. On November 7th, an ISP form was submitted requesting the classification and analysis of additional recovered evidence. And on the 13th of November, responding detectives attempted to contact redacted again to set up a time to interview her, again to no avail. Also on the 13th of November, responding detectives spoke with the victim redacted members, redacted to update them on the ongoing investigation. So I guess they were updating the family members potentially. On November 13th, responding detectives' request for the victim's vehicle to be released to his redacted was faxed to the auto pound. Also on November 13th, responding detectives received incorrect timeframes from pod number. And on the 19th of November, responding detectives spoke with the victim's redacted regarding the ongoing investigation. Responding detectives also returned the victim's cell phone to his redacted. On the 22nd of November, responding detectives received video from pod number redacted with the correct recorded event. Responding detectives also received the requested phone records from redacted cell phone compiled by Boost Mobile. So Boost Mobile gave them phone records. I'm not sure if they subpoenaed that. On November 29th, 2012, responding detectives inventory pod number redacted, video recording under number listed. After responding detectives reviewed the DVD for any possible misinformation, no new information was discovered. On November 29th, 2012, responding detectives spoke with the victim. Redacted related that Redacted and Redacted had words with each other. Redacted related that Redacted Facebook. According to Redacted, what really happened that night. The phone records obtained pertaining to Redacted are currently being reviewed by responding detectives as this investigation continues. And we have a second progress report, and this one was submitted on February 18th, 2013. And we'll scroll this document to get to some new information. All right, in progress, they interviewed one female, 21, and this was on December 15th, 2012. Reporting detectives interviewed the victim, Redacted, regarding the ongoing investigation. Redacted that she had been checking the social media sites for any information regarding the shooting. She further related that Redacted had been Redacted. Travis Henry, Redacted, that is locked up. Redacted related that she heard Redacted, that little nigga was going to end up in a body bag. Redacted related to the responding detectives that she was going to get the copy of that statement from Redacted. Responding detectives reviewed the phone records pertaining to Redacted. Responding detectives was unable to establish any leads at this time. The shooting occurred at approximately 04:02 hours. Redacted had no phone activity after 02:14 hours until 08:14 hours. And we have another progress report that was submitted on March 29th, 2013. And we'll scroll that down to any new information. And they interviewed a couple of people this time, a female 121 and a male 165 at the 007th District. And it says, responding detectives received a message dated January 6, 2013 from P.O. Glowacki in regards to the homicide investigation that occurred on Redacted. Upon return from furlough, responding detective returned Glowacki call on February 10, 2013. Glowacki related that he had come across a guy during cannabis arrest that related he had information regarding the shooting that occurred at 56 Redacted South Shields in November 2012. Glowacki related that he had passed the information on a tactical sergeant in the 007th District. Glowacki related that he didn't recall the name of the sergeant but would look for any possible notes that he didn't turn over. To date, responding detectives has not heard from P.O. Glowacki. Responding detectives left a voice message on March 29, 2013 requesting a return call. Responding detectives attempted to speak to Redacted, but the last known number is disconnected. Responding detectives was unable to speak to Redacted and left a message on his answering machine to call responding detectives at Area South. We have another progress report, and this one was submitted on June 4th, 2013. Going down, just scrolling through to get to some new information. All right, and we have the same two individuals being interviewed. And this time they say responding detectives have made several attempts to contact the victim. Redacted members to no avail. On May 27th, 2013, responding detectives requested a buy bus to assist in this investigation. On May 29th, 2013, responding detectives spoke with P.O. Glowacki from the 007th District in regards to the homicide investigation that occurred on Redacted. Glowacki related that responding detectives should be receiving a copy of his supplementary report that was submitted regarding information he received on the above homicide. And we have another progress report. This one was submitted on January 12th, 2015. All right, and we have victim, of course. We have another in custody section now, in addition to our two victims. Actually, from before, we have one listed, Wilson DeAndre, male 123. His last known address is redacted, and his gang affiliations are redacted. And we have the arresting officers. And charges they charged him with at that time. He was arrested November 5th, 2014, a Wednesday at 2200 hours, and charged him with murder in the first degree. His court date is listed. And we have a video interview recorded under redacted. Investigation reporting detectives During tour of duty for First Watch for November 6, 2014, were notified DeAndre Wilson, the named offender for homicide in this incident, was taken into custody. An investigative alert number is listed was issued for Wilson after he was identified in separate photo arrays by an redacted witnesses. The offender was taken into custody at 21:22 hours on November 5th, 2014 at Redacted by officers from the Fugitive Apprehension Team. He was directly transported to Area South Detective Division for processing and placed in interview room number 1. Detective Downs advised Wilson of his rights at 00002 hours on November 6, 2014 per a printed page from the Fraternal Order of Police Handbook. Detective Parks was present during this time. Wilson was told he was identified as the offender who shot Travis Henry during a homicide. Wilson was also shown a photo of the victim. The offender stated he wanted an attorney, and the interview was terminated. Wilson was given a bottled water before taken to the 005th District lockup to be fingerprinted and photographed. The electronic recorded interview was stored under video number redacted. Redacted witnesses were contacted and arrangements made for them to come to Area South Detective Division to speak with an assistant state's attorney. And we have another progress report that was submitted on July 13th, 2013. And we'll be scrolling down to get to some new information here. Scrolled a little fast. Sorry about that. All right. And we have one to be interviewed, a male 1, date of birth 1990. All right. Responding detectives received the following information regarding Travis Henry homicide that occurred on November 3rd, 2012 from Officer Glowacki. The following was related via supplementary report in essence but not verbatim from Officer Glowacki. Officer Glowacki related that during a field interview, the following information was obtained from Redacted. Redacted related that Travis Henry, Redacted, Henry was going to give an unknown amount, Redacted. Henry didn't give, Redacted, agreed upon, and that they had a verbal altercation. Redacted related to Glowacki that he thought Henry's, Redacted, might have had Henry set up. Redacted related that while Redacted, he heard someone talking about a shooting and thought it sounded like Redacted that got killed. Redacted, they returned the guy talking about the shooting was gone. Redacted related that he made some inquiries and ascertained that the guy resided between the 5600 to the 5800 block of Normal. Redacted further related that it is a Dodge Durango, not a Dodge Caravan. Redacted related that the shooters were probably BDs and that truck is sometimes in the area of 61 to 6300 block of Wabash. Officer Glowacki related that Redacted did not know Henry's Henry's name, redacted name. I don't know if that says first or not. Henry's redacted name. Okay. Officer Glowacki further related that Redacted was only speculating and that his information was heard at a party and that he was not a witness to the shooting. All right, and then we have another progress report. This was submitted on August 31st, 2013. I'll scroll down to some new information. They have a progress narrative, and they do. All right. Prior attempts to follow up on the information received from P.O. Glowacki that was given by Redacted in regards to this investigation negative results at the address listed. On August 24th, 2013, responding detectives learned that Redacted, the address listed on Redacted. On August 25th, 2013, responding detectives met negative results regarding speaking with Redacted at the last known address, Redacted. The address used is a multi-unit building with no names on the bells. Also on the 25th of August 2013, responding detectives spoke with the victims, Redacted, regarding the ongoing homicide investigation. Redacted further related that her Redacted hasn't returned responding detectives' calls because the victims Redacted. Redacted passed away. Incident. Redacted provided the new number. Redacted. Responding detectives requested a non-probable cause investigative alert for Redacted. All right, and now we have a lab report for the battery aggravated handgun, which is probably on the other victim that was not murdered. And this date submitted is July 15th, 2014. Let's see what the lab report has for us. All right. This report should be read in conjunction with all other reports submitted under this RD number. All right. An Illinois State Police IBIS Association report was received, which matches 45 caliber shell casings recovered in this incident to 45 caliber casings recovered in an aggravated battery recorded under number listed. The report states that the casings recovered under inventory number listed and the casings recorded under inventory number were fired in the same firearm. The offenders in each of these related incidents are unknown, and there are currently no suspects in either case. A copy of the IBIS report will be made a part of the permanent file, and this case remains in progress. This is a lab report. And the next document we have is a progress lineup, and this was submitted October 15th, 2014. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, getting down into the investigation. We have persons conducting the photo array. So they did a photo array, and the date, time, and location of the photo array is October 14th, 2014 at 0030 hours. Excuse me. Persons conducting photo array is 2 detectives. Persons viewing photo array is redacted. Persons identified in lineup, DeAndre Wilson. Victim is listed as Travis Henry, of course, and then we have another female 123. Okay, so apparently this person was listed in the was identified in the photo lineup. Investigation. Excuse me. Reporting Detective Parks was telephonically contacted on 12 October 14 by the redacted, who stated she had information on a possible offender in the incident. Redacted stated the offender was a member of the redacted with the nickname of Dede, who frequented the area of 60th and Princeton. Detective Dowles compiled a photo array of known redacteds who live in or been arrested in that area. Reporting detectives proceeded to the location of redacted to present the photo array. Prior to viewing the photo array, redacted signed a photo spread advisory form. Redacted then identified DeAndre Wilson, IR number redacted, as the subject who fired a handgun, which resulted in the death of Travis Henry. Excuse me. Scrolling down, there's no new information on these documents. I'm scrolling through. All right, and we're getting down to another progress lineup document. And I'm going to scroll that until we get to some new information. Alrighty. And this is still the same persons conducting. This is October 15th, 2014. All right. And persons viewing the photo array are redacted, and they identified a DeAndre Wilson. Again, evidence inventoried under property, 2 photo spreads with signed advisory forms. This report should be read in conjunction with the previously approved scene and photo spread reports. In continuation of this investigation, Detective Downs and Parks on October 15, 2014 prepared a photo spread which was separately presented to the witness. Prior to the viewing, each subject signed an advisory form. The witness redacted identified DeAndre Wilson as the individual who fired a handgun in the direction of Travis Henry, which resulted in his death. The witness redacted identified DeAndre Wilson as the subject he saw in a blue van less than 5 minutes before the shooting. Redacted stated this was the same van used in the shooting. And that's the end of that document. Excuse me. Scrolling down. Okay, we have another progress report, and this one is on date submitted November 1st, 2014. And now they have the suspect listed as a DeAndre Wilson. And it says actions, the offender outside street. Excuse me. Listed criminal organization is redacted. All right. We don't have any new information here. Although we do have other individuals listed, but their name redacted, of course. Person interviewed, non-witness, redacted. All right. Excuse me. All right, we're going to read this. This report should be read in conjunction with the previously approved reports. Reporting Detective Parks was contacted on October 13th, 2014 by Redacted. Offender wanted in this homicide. Redacted. Not talked to the police about this homicide. Redacted. Stated Dede was a member of the Redacted who frequented the blocks of 5600 to 6000 south of Princeton and Shields. Detective Downs prepared a photo spread, which was presented by Detective Downs and Parks on October 14, 2014. Redacted identified DeAndre Wilson as the offender in this incident. Separate photo arrays were shown on October 15, 2014, to the witnesses Redacted. Each identified DeAndre Wilson as the shooter in this incident. Both photo arrays are the subject of separate reports. Redacted stated on the night of the incident, Redacted had gotten out of Redacted. The victim was in the rear seat. The witness continued. A blue van, which contained DeAndre Wilson, Redacted, Dede, pulled up. Redacted, Dede jumped out from the front passenger seat armed with a handgun and fired numerous shots in the direction Redacted, resulted in Travis Henry being struck. Redacted shortly before 0400 hours on November 3, 2012, a blue van driven by an unknown heavyset male drove on his block. Redacted stated a subject, Redacted, Dede, was seated in the front passenger seat. The witness stated the vehicle drove off northbound from the block. Redacted continued that about 5 minutes later, a vehicle driven by Redacted stopped. Redacted. This witness stated a male subject, Redacted, got out of the rear seat and ran into Redacted. This witness stated the blue van he saw a few minutes later came down the block from 55th Street. He stated a male subject got out of the passenger seat and fired numerous shots from a handgun in the direction of Redacted vehicle. Redacted stated the shooter then jumped back into the front passenger seat and the vehicle drove off northbound. Redacted at about 0400 hours on November 3, 2012, when a Redacted by his Redacted state, Redacted ran inside, Redacted retrieve a jacket or a book bag. Redacted stated a blue van driven by an unknown subject pulled up and a male, Redacted, Dede, got out of the front passenger seat. The witness stated Dede was armed with a handgun and fired several shots in the direction of Redacted vehicle. He stated the blue van then drove off northbound. Based on the identification of DeAndre Wilson by the three witnesses, an investigative alert was prepared by Detective Downs. This investigation continues. And the next document we have is a clear close arrest and prosecution document. And this document was submitted on January 16th, 2015. They have an offender in custody now, listed in his alias Dede. Scrolling down to some new information, potentially a narrative. Okay, investigation clear closed. In custody is listed name, male 123, aka Dede. Gang affiliation, Redacted. They have the time and location of the arrest. And they have video interview numbers listed, and the names of the videos or numbers of the videos are redacted. And we have an investigation here that we'll read. Investigation. This report should be read in conjunction with previously approved reports. The Cook County State's Attorney's Office was contacted in continuation of this investigation, and ASA Bashirian arrived in Detective Division South on November 6, 2014 to interview the redacted and redacted witnesses. As noted in previous report, the suspect, DeAndre Wilson, had requested an attorney at 0005 hours on November 6, 2014. Interviews were taken in interview number 1 and were recorded via electronic recording interview system. Present for the interviews with the ASA was Detective Downs. The initial interview took place at 0005 hours. Redacted, Travis Henry 4. Redacted, on the night of the incident, Redacted stated she, Redacted with the victim, Redacted Ann, had been driving the victim's auto and drove back. Redacted so could get his coat and book bag before she drove him to the L so he could Redacted. This witness stated she was parked face northbound on the street. Redacted victim, one house south. Redacted ran inside. She continued, came out, redacted, but remembered he had forgotten his book bag and ran back inside a second time. Redacted stated when Redacted came out, she saw a medium sized powder blue van southbound on Shields in their direction. The witness added the van had a turtle top. Redacted, the van drove past but stopped, then backed up and pulled near her vehicle. The witness stated a male black stepped out from the passenger side of the van armed with a black handgun. Redacted subject by the nickname of Dede. Redacted. Dede. Redacted. The shooting. This witness stated, redacted, Dede would see, redacted, would not shoot. Redacted several gunshots. Redacted, reverse and crash into a gate because she did not have the auto in park. She did not see the direction in which the van fled. Redaction investigation. Redaction identified a photo of Dede as a possible shooter but did not make a positive identification because redacted. After the tentative identification, this witness stated Redacted had been shot. An ambulance then transported Redacted to the hospital. The witness related saw Dede in front Redacted. Contacted Area South 2 Redacted. Could identify the offender in this homicide. Redacted picked out Dede in a photo array at Redacted. The photo array is the subject of a separate report. Redacted also viewed a police observation device video which showed the shooter. Redacted stated that that was the individual she saw that night. Redacted was interviewed at 0030 hours. Redacted playing video games on the night of the incident. He stated Redacted to retrieve his book bag and jacket. Redacted stated Redacted to speak with his Redacted and Redacted. Travis Henry. This witness continued his Redacted was seated behind the wheel of Henry's auto. Redacted stated his Redacted planned to drive Redacted to the L stop so he could go home. This witness stated when Redacted came outside he realized he had left his book bag. Redacted stated he was not wearing a jacket so he went back inside with Redacted. While inside he heard gunshots and when he looked out saw a male subject, Redacted Dede, on the street firing a handgun. Redacted stated Redacted vehicle then went into reverse and crashed into a neighbor's gate. Redacted stated Dede ran to a van which was parked on the street next to, but in the opposite direction of Redacted vehicle. The witness stated when he ran outside he saw Travis Henry was shot. Redacted, he did not tell police Dede was the shooter. Redacted. The witness stated last month he was shown a photo array by detectives and identified Dede as the shooter. He added he has known Dede. Redacted. The witness, Redacted, was interviewed at 0051 hours. Redacted home a few doors south of where the incident occurred. Redacted before he redacted, this witness stated a powder blue van with a turtle top drove southbound on Shields in front. Redacted. Redacted stated he recognized the front seat passenger as Dede, whom Redacted. He added on a previous occasion, Dede Redacted. About 7 to 10 minutes later, Redacted stated an auto driven by Redacted pulled up. Redacted. He added the auto also contained Travis Henry, a Redacted, and Redacted, an individual from whom Redacted. The auto was owned by Henry. This witness continued a few minutes later. The same powder blue van drove southbound on Shields and stopped next to Redacted auto. Redacted stated the front passenger jumped out with a handgun and fired several shots into Redacted auto. Redacted stated he was concerned for his safety and ran. Redacted. Redacted stated he did not talk to police on the night of the incident because his Redacted did not tell police what happened. Last month, Redacted identified Dede in a photo array as the subject he saw in the van just minutes before the shooting. When the interviews were concluded, the particulars of the case were reviewed by ASA Bashirian, who approved charges of first-degree murder against DeAndre Wilson, known as Dede, in this report. It is requested this case is clear, closed by arrest prosecution. Detective T. Downs. And that's the end of our document. Thank you so much for sticking through this with me. I hope you guys learned some new information regarding this. Definitely hit that subscribe button if you have not. I will be dropping more videos. Thank you so much. Have a blessed weekend. Peace.